Welcome everyone to the analysis for the high-end Yoshi pipe. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at the odds for obtaining these items, what your chances are for getting them on your account for particular amounts of rubies that you're willing to spend within your budget. We'll be looking at the item value that they present, as well as expectations and projections moving forward, and we're going to end it off with a little bit of fun. We have the all clear pipe and the token shop gold pipe. So we're going to double dip on free gold pipes. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you appreciate the comprehensive community resource that I provide here with all of the data, please show your appreciation with the channel by subscribing. Taking a look at the pipe here, we can see that it is only one spotlight item, and that is a brand new cart by the way of the black turbo Yoshi. So there's been other variants of this. The white turbo Yoshi was released last year as a part of a 100 spotlight set with white Yoshi. And in the week 2 pipe of that tour, we had the black turbo Birdo. So now it's this year's turn to have the black turbo Yoshi. And the starting value has 9 courses overall. The skill is Mini Turbo Plus, but we don't focus on the skill when it comes to cart. The value that these carts present is by and large through the course coverage that they're unlocking for your account. So what can this actually provide you? Starting value, of course, is going to be roughly 30% of its ultimate fully realized value. So we can only assess that initial 30% that we're looking at. There's no way to say with absolute certainty what the final list of courses will be, but it starts off looking very good. And the reason for that is because right here you can see it has access to Yoshi Valley, the normal variant, as well as Yoshi Valley, the trick variant. So that's ranked mode in both week 1 and week 2. So this pipe, if you choose to pull on it, will provide you with a cart for both weeks of those brand new tracks that have been brought to the game. And the Yoshi Valley course is a lot of fun. There's a lot of actions that can be generated from it. So having the cart bonus points multiplier will be essential for making sure that you can maximize your scoring potential. But let's take a look at the other courses it gets. While the Yoshi Circuit T is an old existing course, so there are going to be options aplenty for you there, many of which are likely to be high-level items that you've had on your account for a while. We do see that it has access to other recent courses that have been prominently featured tour in and tour out, and that's with the Mushroom Gorge trick variant in its level 1 coverage. And then if we take a look at the level unlocks, the level 3 unlocks present older courses that don't see a lot of ranked value by way of Airship Fortress and the other Yoshi Circuit variant. But the level 6 unlocks present an additional wave of these newer courses that are being prominently featured with Yoshi Valley R. So it gets access to all 3 Yoshi Valleys, as well as Wario Shipyard R, which was in ranked mode in the last tour. And then it gets an additional Mushroom Gorge if you're willing to take it all the way to level 8. But that's a costly investment and not one that you're going to make willy-nilly on this before we see how the value progresses. Remember, the optimal way to utilize your tickets is to take it to a benchmark level, a plateau that will tangibly obtain you what you need given your level of competition, and then to let the value of these items dictate additional investment. And that's the way how you can avoid regretting essentially any investment that you make, because it's entirely dependent then upon its performance for your account, and you can monitor that closely. So there are other items in this pipe, of course, because it is a 6 high-end 50 pipe, which means 12% odds. So this is just loaded with high ends, and the selection of them varies wildly. So we're going to talk about what's available here and what kind of value these things can present, because it ranges from, you know, entirely useless by and large to exceptional, and some things that could power your account in the near future. So the distribution of this, since there is that spotlight cart, you only get a selection then of one from the high-end pool that's here, which includes the Jingle Bells, which was a year one cart, and the green double decker. So both of these carts actually present very little value for your account. The green double decker has 22 courses, but 10 of which are nitro value, which means that barely over 50% of its value is going to be of the assumed kind. And then the Jingle Bells suffers from what we like to call here year one syndrome, right? It has so little value, you can't even scroll down the list of courses. So that's what the cart selection is. Very meager outside of that brand new one. Now, some of you may be wondering, what are the expectations then for this black turbo Yoshi cart? You know, you might say, it's a special pipe item, Kevin. What does that mean? Well, we have to break it down further to distinguish what is the range of expectations, right? Like, I can't give you an exact figure on what it will obtain. I can only provide you with a range of possible outcomes from that, right? And it's a spotlight item in this pipe. A spotlight 50 pipe special pipe items get the paywall buffing favor early in their lifespan as opposed to later in their lifespan. So the expectations for this black turbo Yoshi will be that it will power your account in the immediate sense in the next few tours, right? And then the late term value on that isn't likely to see the same carrying effect. It's not impossible, but the frequency of those kinds of buffs will not be the same as those of either 100 pipes, pack items, or non-spotlight special pipe items, okay? Now, let's talk about these drivers. So let's swing it over to the inventory actually to take a look at this. And so the first one up we have is Black Yoshi. Now this is a standard high-end, so we could even pull this when we do the all clear pipe as well as the token shop gold pipe. We've certainly pulled it there in the past. So, and if you've been playing for a while, you've likely to have encountered it before. And the value is quite good on this, given what it represents. And this is an older item. It was released in the initial Yoshi Tour, I do believe. And it has very low coin box overlap. So that's kind of like its claim to fame. It has seen usage in the metagame as a good supplemental coverage option for players that are heavily invested into Coinbox, since Coinboxers haven't completely neutralized the niche that this driver has. So that's where Black Yoshi stands. It's a respectable driver, and it's one that you already have access to. So that's not really a reason to go in and pull on this pipe. Now, we also have this little guy over here, very adorable looking alt, Yoshi Reindeer, but just like the Jingle Bells, we can see that it has that year one syndrome going on here, where it has had some additional value that's been presented to it, and that usually occurs like leading up to the holiday season and during the holiday season. So as we can see, I scroll down to the most recent value here. We can see that it has the Vancouver Velocity 2, the Vanilla Lake 2. These all occurred in November and December of 2021. So, and it's very possible to see a similar kind of thing occur where it might get one or two more tracks leading up to the holiday season for this coming year, right? But otherwise, it's tangible value in what it represents. We see it has a numerous selection of nitro courses, and these are not ones that are featured regularly on the circuit. We see that it has the Merry Mountains, in addition to Sydney Sprint, Los Angeles Laps, the aforementioned Vancouver, New York, the original Vancouver. So it's quite an abundance of nitro selection there. So Yoshi Reindeer is more of a collector's item, and perhaps it may give you entry-level driver access on a new track around the holiday season, but there is competition there along with the other holiday items that we can see. So that's really the extent of Yoshi Reindeer. And then certainly last but not least, we have Kangaroo Yoshi. Now this is the real powerhouse. This is the desirable part of the driver selection because it has the boomerang flower, which can suck up all of the coins from the bots using Coinbox. The coin term for that is the boombox. And its track selection is enormous. If you scroll through all of this, has 37 courses overall, which is the second most. And of those 37 courses, 12 of them present nitro values. So it's not all meat and potatoes. These nitro values are long gone in the past now. So they were very good for you if you pulled for this driver. Initially, it debuted in the Sydney 2 Tour late last summer. So if you got access to it then, you enjoyed the benefit of all 12 of those nitro courses that it's had access to. But those opportunities will be fleeting moving forward. So then what can you pin your hopes on when it comes to this Yoshi Kangaroo? And it rests with those 25 assumed value courses. And now 25 is a very good number. It's not the top of the mark, but it is among the top cut of options that exist out there. So, and it does have quite a good potential when it comes to boomboxable courses. So, Yoshi Kangaroo, the most desirable part of the pipe. And as always, look to see what these options present for your specific inventory. And that's a point I actually want to emphasize greater as we swing it over and take a look at the gliders in this pipe, because there's one glider in particular that is very formidable in the way of the stats that it presents. However, in the practical sense, may not be much of a powerhouse for your account. And that is with these things right here, the Sunset Balloons, which was originally a purchasable item in the Sunset Tour. This is all the way back in 2020. And then it became available in the Banana Pipe, which was last year's special pipe during the Yoshi Tour. And it's seen other pipe appearances since then. And it's also a standard high-end now. So you can actually pull this. We could do it, like we already said, in the all-clear pipe, right? So now this has 27 of courses overall, 22 of which is assumed value. Now, in terms of gliders, the going rate, the premium top of the mark for assumed value is 26 courses, right? So it's very close to top of the mark. And that projects very well for, obviously, within the stats. But if we do take a look at what it's had access to, didn't really have many significant paywall tracks. And then taking a look at the assumed courses, does have a significant amount of overlap with other common and formidable options. Most notably is the Swooper, which is in the daily selects. Some of you out there, myself included in this category, have used the Swooper as access to high-end tickets in their daily selects. So this glider could require a significant investment in order to have a full return for its course coverage that it presents. And then it's also overlapping superior gliders such as the Dream Glider. So it's the Dream Glider would be the one that you would want to invest in as opposed to the Sunset Balloons. Now that does not make the Sunset Balloons useless, just emphasizes once again to check to see what this glider does for your specific inventory before using a bunch of tickets on it or going further into the pipe. But once again, being a standard high-end, this isn't one that's like gonna have a significant amount of FOMO factor to it, right? Because if you miss out on this, there's gonna be opportunities to see this every single time you pull on the pipe. So, the other glider of note here would be this one right here. It's the Aurora Balloons. Now, this one is a bit newer. We can see it started off with Vancouver Velocity 2. So it debuted in the Penguin Tour, and this debuted as a pack exclusive item, and it's already returned to the pipe during the Sky Tour. It was in the week 2 pipe along with the Zoom brooms, right? And since that time, it's had, well, collectively it's had 6 paywall tracks, and it had 4 of those before its spotlight feature in that 100 pipe, and it's had 2 paywall tracks since then, right? It's had the Sky Gardens Tea and the Yoshi Valley, we can see right there. Now, this is a non-spotlight return to the pipe now. So in terms of forming a progression for where this value can proceed forward, with the exception of that 100 spotlight feature, generally items that debut in packs and then make their pipe appearance as a non-spotlight in the selection of one of these special pipes sees extraordinary paywall favor given to them. And given that the status of this glider is 22 tracks overall, 18 of which is assumed value, and it's already had about half of a lifetime span of paywall tracks. So one thing of note also with this glider is that many of the recent tours have featured the same courses time and time again. The 3DS Bowser's Castle, as well as the Wario Shipyard course, right? And Sky Gardens has been featured in all but one of the tours since it's been available. And what that means is that it's held up some of the buffing potential of a lot of these new items. And the implications of that vary depending upon the item, but the Aurora Balloons has seen a fair amount of buffs during this time, in that it's had access to the paywalled ones. So moving forward from this point, it could see additional paywall favor. So if you're looking for a glider that could potentially carry your account on some of these, the Aurora Balloons is one to keep an eye on, and this is definitely the prize of the glider selection, because if we go back over here, I forgot I even had this glider, folks. Where is it? So it's down here, actually, the Rainy Balloons. This is the other glider, and it's totally year 1 syndrome. Look at that. We can have pretty much all of the track selection on one screen there. No need to scroll at all, folks. This was given away actually in the token shop, and I only just recently finished up the base points on it, grinding for tokens last tour. So that's the complete assessment on the value of these items. Now let's go ahead and check out what the percentages are then of obtaining these things. And we're gonna pretty much just stick with a budget of 225 rubies. So if you're doing a single drain of this pipe, it's really not one that I would recommend doing multiple drains on this pipe for, because we saw the distribution. It's a 2-2-2 high-end pipe, and for the carts, that's split between the 1 guaranteed spotlight and the selection of the other cart, right? So as we'll see when we swing it over to the calculator here, let's go over there right now. In fact, the odds are not significantly in your favor if you're looking to pull one of these other things, and it could be a endless pit. So the main value that you're going to want to go into this pipe for is that black turbo Yoshi cart, and then just test your luck to see how the rest of it falls in line. So given that that's the situation here, we start off with 1 minus, and if you want to calculate your odds for obtaining any one of these items, the 1 minus does is 1 represents 100%, so the full range of outcomes that you can have. And then we're going to be looking at the number of items that represent the selections of things that we don't want. So let's say if we want Kangaroo Yoshi, 2 out of the 3 of the drivers in that selection are not Kangaroo Yoshi. So we would do 2 divided by 3, and then we set the exponent to the number of trials that we would be doing in this pipe. So in this situation, there are 2 high-end drivers in a complete drain of this 50 pipe. So we set the exponent to 2 there, and that's our percentage, right? Well, that's the frequency. So we would times 100 to get the percentage, and it's 55.6% in order to obtain Kangaroo Yoshi in one drain of the pipe. So it's a glorified coin flip. It's a little bit better than a coin flip. An unfair coin, mind you. So that's the situation, and it's going to be the same exact odds then if your interest is in that glider that has had recent paywall favor and is likely to present additional paywall favor moving forward in the way of Aurora balloons. So it would also be the same 55.6%. Now, just for posterity, I'll go ahead and say, what if you pull on the pipe the first time and you get your high-end driver and a high-end glider, and you say, okay, don't want to proceed further in this pipe, I can budget out a little bit more than 225 rubies. What happens then if I see 3 high ends? So if that were the case, we would do the same 2 divided by 3 for the selection, but in this case we would set the exponent to 3, and then our odds jump up to 70.4% would be the odds then. So obviously the more you can commit in terms of rubies and your budget, the better your odds become. But where it becomes one of those bottomless pits, as I always say, is that the percentage is never going to reach 100%, right? It only just gets smaller and smaller with each additional reset that you can do, and that's where it becomes dangerous compared to these 100 pipe selections that have a spotlight. So when we go into a pipe like this, it's really just for that black turbo Yoshi cart. And you know, if your heart is absolutely set on the Kangaroo Yoshi, may take 450 rubies, 675 rubies, you know, hold on tight if you're going for that non-spotlight selection, folks. And please pull in the pipe responsibly. Best recommendation is just going in for a single drain. All right, so this was exciting, actually. Going back to the shop, I saw I have Diddy Kong in my daily selects, and when I saw that, I said, okay, for the final cup, in honor of my favorite character, we're not going to do the final challenge unless they require us in order to play the end credits for this tour. We're going to do the Bowser's Castle with the middle shelf Diddy Kong, right? So he's been top shelf here once or twice because they've given the Diddy Kong Cup boost. And he's had a lot of fun in that yellow off-roader as well as with the Starry Great Sail. So let's see what we can have fun with here. Maybe we'll have a little bit of banana barrel fun. If not, we'll just, you know, try to play aggressive lines and win the race with one less item slot. It's always a little bit of fun to try, right? And then, of course, like, if you're collecting the tokens in a tour, sometimes you might want to use a middle or a bottom shelf character that can get you base points, and then that's going to double your efforts, basically, when collecting these tokens to get the base points up on something that's, you know, obviously you wouldn't be using it in a track for score, but it's saving your time for another point when you need to be using that driver, whether it be in ranked mode, and the base points are then already up to where they need to be, right? And you can also save on those red point boost tickets that they've been pushing out, both through the token shop, pipe, and as well as that new $4 bundle, which is kind of a whale thing. Most players don't have that supremely high demand of the red point boost tickets unless you're doing a lot of point capping to various parts of your inventory. So here we go. I think the bots have been playing pretty nice with us so far. I haven't really taken note of much. Well, it's hilarious. I say that and the lightning hits, right? Of course. All right. caught the jump boost there. I thought I missed it. So one thing I really like that they've done in this tour is the tokens are now available on the course, and they definitely jacked up the frequency of them because the tokens are everywhere. And one thing I do want to draw emphasis to is that also applies to when you're using Coinbox, right? When you use Coinbox, the green tokens are just everywhere, and it's wonderful, except if you're going for high scores, and then it's reducing the viability of the red coins, of course, if you have Coinbox Plus as your special skill. And that's troublesome for players who put in a lot of effort into their runs. And what I do want to just say is that I think that it's beautiful, really, that they've increased the amount of these tokens on the course, but it would be nice if they could maintain the increased course tokens while dialing back the tokens out of the coin box to the standard rate that is typically seen. So that way players can have the best of both worlds when it comes to that. I think that would be really good. So if you feel strongly about that, that might be something you want to send through feedback. Anyway, is the video going to play for us? Yes, it will. I'm glad I don't have to repeat one of the challenges. So here we go. All cups cleared. What do I want out of this? Well, Dixie Kong has been calling to me. She won't stop talking about getting a new toy. So what could we use? We could really use the Wild Pink. It would both be good for ranked mode in week 1, currently in first place, but it's getting a little bit more narrow. So that would just help make things a bit more comfortable. And the Wild Pink shares some overlap with courses that are very important to her, especially her level 8 unlocking course, Royal Raceway RT. But there's other carts that do cover that she would appreciate, like the Pink Dozer. Either one of those would look great. But the Wild Pink does present that coverage for this course that I need, Maple Treeway T. So that's at the top of the list. Of course, we want to see one of the Kongs, right? Funky Kong, Dixie Kong. And then there's a lot of new overpowered gliders that just keep being put. It's amazing what they're doing. They're like giving away the game, right? It's like the Meteor Balloons is now in this. It's like there's been so many. I still don't have the Black Great Sail, which is like still enormous kinds of coverage. So I mean, there's so many OP gliders that I have not had. Would love to see any one of those, any one of the new ones. And then there's a lot of duplicates out there that I'd still like to see, like the Red Bee Dasher would be a great duplicate for the given time. You know, things that have significance within inventory, so like Strawberry Donut. So that's the full range of things, and I decided to give a more complete list because we're going to be going into the token shop pipe right after this. So 2 chances to get something good. Love to see on both, so let's just go into it. What do we got? Okay, we have the Iron Cucumber, which this is a nice pull. It's a duplicate of a card that's fairly useful for my account, so I'm not upset about that, but it doesn't really, it's not one of my top hits in the inventory, and it's also not something that's new or presenting additional coverage for me. So Iron Cucumber, it's a good pull. It's not as exciting as the first time, but having now bonus points boost access to it could present some value in a future situation. All right, so we cleared out the challenges, over 700K now, very good. So we get that cart points cap up ticket. Now it's time for the second gold pipe. So I've been seeing all the polls that you've been sharing, and some really good ones out there. Can we get a good one of our own? We're going to go into it right now. Oh, okay. So the Ice. It's funny. They must have took the Royal Raceway RT a little bit too literally on that, because this is the cart for Royal Raceway RT that I already have access to. The problem with the Ice is that has significant overlap with the Ramby Runner, which is the #1 cart on my account. So This is good for presenting niche coverage. It does save me a ticket. It's not a bad pull. It's not a bad pull, but it's not at the top of our list of things that we want to see. So we pulled a couple duplicate carts. A little bit unfortunate. You know what? I feel like maybe I should give this freebie a whirl just to see if we could pull out a stunner here, right? So let's just go into it. I've been saving this one. Oh well. I guess it's just not my lucky day today. Definitely not with the red kitty cart. Anyway, that's the way it goes with the free pipes. So if you found this information to be helpful, informative, please do show your support with the channel. Click the thumbs up button, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can join the Discord. Link is in the description. The quality of conversation in the Discord has been increasing exponentially as of late. It's becoming everything I dreamed it could be and more, and it's all a credit to you folks. A lot of exciting discussions. I'm constantly enthused about interacting because I think we all bring out the best in each other, and that is a hallmark of our community that I love and appreciate so much. So take care, everybody, and wish you the best of luck on your polls. Let me know how you do. So long.